Hey guys, Chelsea here. Now, if you saw the last video, you would know what this is about. But basically, this is looking at all of the easy to take points in every map. Now, I'm going to be doing the exact same rules. So you can go Airfield, D-Day, Labrie, Omar, Ruins of Barks, and then Versamer to finish off. We'll start with Airfield, as you know. Then so let's start with Airfield right now. This is going to be the easiest point on Airfield. For the easiest point on Airfield, I'm going to have to go with the final point. Now, I know there's most airfield points are really, really dickish. So this is literally which one's the least dickish. Like the final point in airfield is kind of like you're pushing into this stupid, like this big fuck off hangar. There's a lot of enemies are coming out from all directions. It's very, very frustrating to try and push in at times, but I have to say, compared to every other hangar in this map, like every other field in this map, which you have to you cross like huge fields, this was probably the least dickish. I think there's more cover on this one. Also, the point's huge as well, so you can really cram in a lot of troops if you're quick enough, and of course if your team's quick enough. It's okay, I guess. I don't really have much to say about this one. Anyways, let's move on to D-Day. For D-Day, I'm going to have to go with the fourth point on the, I believe, the left side or the right side. But basically, it's the one that's not the bunker. I think if you watched the last video, I said that the bunker was the hardest point. I think this one's the easiest point because there's lots of cover around. It's very easy to sneak up on and ninja cap. Literally, it's just easy. Now, another pretty easy point, in my opinion, was the first bunker, which, I know, the first bunker, what the fuck, and also the, what was it, the second point's quite easy, aren't too bad, but I think this one's probably the easiest one. There's not much MGs, there is that one bunker right above it, which, that's easy enough to take for the other team. If you're attacking, and you have that bunker, this point is a joke, in general, but if you don't have that bunker, it can be a bit more difficult. But either way, it's still pretty easy to take. Which is why I'd say it's the easiest point to take on D-Day. Anyway, so let's move on to Labrie. In a similar vein to D-Day, there's not really much hard to take points on Labrie. I'm going to have to go with the first point, which is further back. Now, the first point that's further forward, in my opinion, is actually harder to take because the defenders actually get a further pushed up spawn. But this one, I think, is actually a lot easier to take. The one which is further back, which is the default one, the original one. I think that one's much easier to take because, A, everyone knows it. And also, well, there's just there's a lot of ways to advance to it. Now, with the other one, it's really compacted and you only have really one way to get to it, which is just straight on, which can lead you to get easily picked off. Whereas with this one, you've got so many different angles to attack from that the defenders have to really struggle to really defend. Like, it's quite, the main road is kind of a bit of a death trap, but after you get past those machine guns and they get destroyed, it's quite easy, to be honest, to get to the point. It's quite an easy house to clear as well, so, yeah. And it's quite protected, it's very protected, so unlike the other one which has massive holes in it, so, yeah, comes in as the easiest. Let's move on to Omar. For Omar, it's actually going to be the first point on the right side of the river. Now, the left side of the river is actually a bit of a dickish one, but the right side of the river one is actually quite easy, in my opinion. Now, there is also the third point, which is that massive, which is the apartment block, which is very easy to take because everyone always parks outside and no one garrisons in the building, which makes it basically prime real estate to be taken. But I have to go to the warehouse because one reason. The attackers spawn closer to the point than the defenders. I'm not even joking. There's times where I've never been on Omar where I've not got to the first cap point before for the defenders. I don't. No other map, no other point in the game have I ever done that. Really, first point. That is. Like, that is absurd. And it's not even like you know, I don't even get it, really. It's just very easy to attack. And it's, as well as that, it's very big, which of course is a detriment to the defenders, because of course attackers can hide in more positions. And in my opinion, the attackers have to go across that open field, but they've got a really good cover with the house. And also they've got those big drums, and you can flank around. It's very hard to defend that point as the defenders, which is why it's getting the easiest point for Omar. Anyways, let's move on to Ruins. Now for Ruins, there's really only two, which is, well, there's three really, and they're all really dependent on like different factors happen. The first one is the first bunker, because it's so awkward. It's really awkward to defend, but you can still hold people back at that one. It's quite easy to just spawn camp the attackers. The second is the church, or the cathedral. That one, again, it really depends on where the enemies are coming from, and how good the team is, and how good the rallies are, but again, it's really dependent. And the final one I would have to say is the A point for swamps. Now that one, again, it's fine. It's I generally just don't have an easy one for Ruins, because they're either really hard to take, or they're just they're not, I don't know, like, I generally can't say which one for Ruins, so let's just say a combination of all three, I guess. Let's move on to Versamer, because this one's got an easy one. For Versamer, 100% has to be the final point in front of the chateau. Now, the chateau is, I mean, that one's quite easy as well, but the final point, oh my god. I generally say this is the hardest point to defend in the game. It's so big, like, it is generally so massive to defend, that the defenders are actually at a disadvantage if you are unlucky enough to get this as your final cap. Like, the attackers can hide in so many different areas. Defenders can hide in, can't really have to flush them out of the different buildings. They gotta flush them out of the hedges. It's really annoying, very hard to do. And yeah, I just generally can't think of one point on Versamer which is more of a pain to defend than that one. Like, every other point has something which is very, very good. Like, for example, I don't know, there's that house, for example, the forward house on one of the fourth point. And of course, some of the points in the town are pretty easy to defend. Like, the radar dish is quite easy to defend. The church is quite easy to defend. But this one is just, it's really just hard to defend. Like, it's just big flat, like, not even flat, it's just this big maze, like, sort of thing. Like, and unless you have like a tanker just constantly running through the hedges to expose the hedges, you're going to be playing cat and mouse with the attackers as they run through the hedges. It's generally not fun to defend, but it's very easy to attack as well. So it comes in as Versamer's easy to attack point. Anyways, that's the end of this video. I hope you guys have enjoyed. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.